A day after Ottawa said it will impose a 25% surtax on excessive imports of some foreign steel imports starting October 25th, some Canadian industry groups are sounding the alarm bell. They say there isn't enough domestic supply to meet demand, and taxing steel coming from outside Canada will make things more expensive here at home. Joining me now is Richard Lyle from Residential Construction Council of Ontario. Great seeing you. Great to have you on. So what's your major issue here with this surtax?
Well, you know, we already have a supply problem. We've had a cost problem. This is going to exacerbate that. The market is very tight. We have a lot of production coming up, which is good. You know, we sold 36,000 units, for example, in the GTA in 2017. So the demand for steel has shot up quite a bit. The steel that we used to get from the U.S. is no longer coming here, and here I'm talking about rebar. So we need foreign steel to build housing, and as we know, housing is number one, number two issue in the GTA, and also a very big issue in other municipalities, including Vancouver. So this level of uncertainty that's been thrown at us at this time is a shock. It's going to create chaos, and it's going to threaten thousands of jobs. And I think the jobs that are going to be threatened by this move are going to far outweigh any job threats to the producers of steel in Canada, of which there, of course, there's four major ones.
So, Richard, give me some concrete examples of things that could increase in terms of price as a result of this surtax. And also, by how much could things go up?
Well, we're talking tariffs and quotas. So you're looking at 25% right off the bat when you talk about an increase in tariff. But of course, because there's quotas on that, and then there's uncertainty as to what exactly this affects. Is it going to affect product in warehouses? Is it going to affect products at sea right now? And also, the pricing will be uncertain because some people are saying we could be short 200,000 tons of steel by next summer, so we might even actually have projects that won't be able to go ahead because we're not going to have the steel to build. And that's a real problem. So, and in terms of the pricing, 25% tariff, well, okay, that's just the tariff. If you throw a risk premium on that, which I can assure you is going to happen in this case, you could double that number. And so the cost per unit, say, for example, in a condominium could be, you know, upwards of $10,000 a unit just on the steel alone. And our construction costs have already gone up 14% in the last year and a half. And we already have an affordability problem, as you know, and wages and incomes of people aren't going up at that rate. So it's a problem.
Yeah, Vancouver, clearly an example of a market that is very expensive. I talked to Finance Minister Bill Morneau's spokesperson a couple of hours ago. They're making two main points here. They say that they're putting this in place because they want to protect the domestic supplies so there isn't a flood of foreign product coming in from countries that don't want to send to the U.S. because it's getting too expensive. The second point they want to make is the tax only applies to imports over a certain threshold, and that threshold is based on a 3-year average. So they claim they're not trying to choke off foreign supply. What are your thoughts on this?
Domestic supply, our domestic supply is working at full capacity right now, so they can't meet the increased demand that we're going to have. And if you take a 3-year average going backwards, that doesn't reflect where we're going in the future. So I think, you know, and other people think there's a real problem here. And I think the government knows now. They've certainly heard from enough people in the last 24 hours to know that there is a problem here. And the steel supply chain is complicated. It's not a simple situation. You know, it's not a sort of a user and a supplier. There's a lot of parts in between that. So, you know, this just throws additional. I mean, we already had uncertainty with respect to steel. This is an additional element. And, you know, our estimate that we had done with the modeling that was done was 62,000 jobs. That's an estimate, guesstimate. It could be worse. And if we actually can't supply what we need or can't get that product, then, as I said, that could affect ICI projects, civil infrastructure projects, bridges, things like that. And, of course, we use an enormous amount of steel in the building of condominiums.
Of course. Richard Lyle, appreciate your perspective, as always. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.